Hello and welcome to another episode of Political Breakdown. This week without Pete, which is why we started with my back. The guests this week are
Declan Kennedy
and
bisexual comedy legend Mark Cram.
Fantastic. That's your new name by default, isn't it?
I didn't realise.
I understand.
Didn't realise we had a strap line. Is that like wrestling now? I've got to be what, Dynamo Declan Kennedy or something?
Everything's pro wrestling now, man. That's all life is. Look at politics.
Yeah. Actually, I'll bring more dignity to politics, but I guess we're going to tackle that shortly.
Oh, one would hope.
One would hope.
Let's start with the BBC and the licence fee. Because this week we've had both Damien Green and Hugh Merriman, both Tories. Hugh Merriman is the chair of the all-party parliamentary group on the BBC. They've both warned Downing Street against going after the BBC too hard. What are our thoughts with regards to whether or not we should be having a licence fee?
I like quite the way you've looked at me straight at me, because obviously, full disclosure, I've got I have quite a complicated view of the BBC, having worked there for about 13 years.
To you for a while.
So my first response is, how long a list would you like? But in principle, yeah, the principle of the BBC is worth defending in the sense of just having a state-funded broadcaster, just from the point of view of a viewing experience of having a channel with no adverts on it, is like that is. That's the value of that is incalculable, and when it goes, we will miss that.
But should that be paid for as a...
move the mic just slightly further away?
Oh, sorry, am I over-modding, darling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should that be paid for by a licence fee, though, or should that be something that exists within taxation that we already have? Like, should that already be paid for? I know someone's going to say magic money tree about it again, but...
But is the licence fee not the tax for that?
It's not officially a tax.
Well,
sorry,
yeah,
this is my BBC time is kicking in.
But I mean, it's a tax in any other name, really, because we're paying for something that is in the public domain, that is run by a public body that we give money to out of. I know it doesn't come directly out of our wages, and you don't have to pay it.
But why is that one thing that's not covered by central taxation?
Because it's just to point out, just a distinction to make there. I think I'm right in saying this. I'm open to correction, but it's not collected by HMRC. I don't think, which means that the minute, because the BBC, people say, oh, it's state-owned. It's state-funded. It's not yet state-owned, which still, in theory, gives it a measure of independence. So the minute it does become folded into any form of taxation, then the government has much more of a stake in it, I think.
Well, could you work in a way instead, and this is something that a lot of people have mentioned, I think it is the right way of going about it, is keep the licence fee, but decriminalise not paying for it. Like, if you don't have a TV or anything like that, you shouldn't be forced to... have to pay a fucking licence fee.
Okay, if you decriminalise it, are people just not going to not pay it?
Yeah, that's the bottom line, isn't it? And then it will fall apart,
yeah.
And that is one of the motives for doing it. And it is. I understand your point, and a lot of people justifiably say, "Well, I never use a BBC," and it riles me up just as an ex-BBC employee, because it's like, well, you never use the police normally. Do you know what I mean? You don't go to subscription service police. I don't know what that would be, like Netflix police.
Am I right in saying that the BBC is profitable outside of the licence fee anyway?
It does have a commercial wing, yeah.
But Top Gear was like huge for them at one stage. They were selling that all over the world for like vast money.
Yeah, and in theory, that money is meant to go back into program making.
I mean, it does like 70% or something. I saw goes of their money goes into programming.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue this is purely. Again, this is purely an editorialised viewpoint. Here come the licence fee people. They've heard us talking about them. That I felt like when I was working there, just so much money went into marketing and so little went into actual programs. That shows on screen. That shows on the is like when you've got these multi-million-pound trails with Michael Palin walking through a geyser in Iceland, and then you watch like Cash in the Attic that's filmed on someone's phone. It's very difficult to justify the licence fee. It's like, well, where has the money gone? Because it's clearly gone into marketing and not much else.
Phone cameras are pretty great nowadays. You get a good episode of Cash in the Attic filmed on like the latest iPhone.
Yeah, still Cash in the Attic.
It's all gone into keeping David Attenborough alive.
Have I got beef with David Attenborough?
I was going to say, to be fair, if you'd sold it to the population as you need to pay the license fee to keep David Attenborough alive, most people would pay it.
Yeah.
He's the closest thing we've got to a national treasure.
Yeah, certainly.
Full off.
You are the first person I've met who doesn't like David Attenborough.
All right, let's nail our colours to the mast. No, David Attenborough makes porn films with animals. That's his main. He crouches in the bushes watching animals copulate and then show. Look at this silverback just todging off to his partner. That's what.
I must have missed that Blue Planet.
I've not seen.
Well, it's called Blue Planet for a reason. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I haven't really seen much David, but it just seems to me that every time I watch it, it's either snuff films, as Victor Lewis Smith has pointed out, snuff films with animals where they're eating each other, or animals hard at it.
Yeah, but you know that's the animal kingdom. Like they eat each other. It's a well-known a piece of scientific. There was a scientific documentary, The Lion King. One of the main points is the circle of life.
And could you unpack the circle of life for us? Is there a handy way of doing that?
I believe it was Elton John who
the
invented
renowned, the renowned natural scientist.
It goes Darwin, Elton John. In regards to,
I remember his very
Shakespeare also wrote the story before that, though, so it's all Shakespeare.
But I mean, then you get into the fact that there's like only 7 stories.
The hero's journey and all that stuff.
And so all things, and Shakespeare didn't invent the 7 stories. They all come from even the Greek tragedies, and then even before that, the fucking Norse and all of this.
Can I just say, I do feel a bit mean saying about David Attenborough on something that's essentially going to be on YouTube. But
I feel like you're going to get hate mail.
I think of all the things I've said and done, that this is going to be the thing that probably earns me. Well,
I mean, this is the thing. People have said some interesting stuff on this. That is the most that people are actually going to get angry over.
Have I just libelled David Attenborough?
No,
I don't think so. I'm sorry, David.
He once ate a tortoise back in the 60s for one of his documentaries.
I thought you were going to say for a bet in front of you.
Of all the things that Trump and Boris have said out loud, the one thing they would not touch is David Attenborough, because even the most vehement right-winger would turn on Boris.
This is what part of my beef with David Attenborough is that he didn't make a comment about I can persuade Trump, and it's like, what? No one else has managed, but you, who films sparrows having an orgy or whatever the hell it is you do, you think you can convince him?
Trump would be into that, though.
Sparrows having an orgy?
Yeah.
I think it's possibly the one fetish he wouldn't possibly entertain.
Everything but sparrows is Donald Trump.
That's
one hell of a fucking Tinder bio, innit?
What you're looking for? Everything but sparrows.
It's the only thing I don't
like. I to take a point, I accept, David, I have to concede David Attenborough is very popular, and maybe that is an argument that it will keep David Attenborough.
Well, he's also single-handedly pushed people giving a fuck about the environment for the past, like, seemingly, the BBC, because it has to be said that it's the BBC doing all of these things as well. That all of the programming, the Blue Planet and all of these are always the most watched programs of the year, always most anticipated, and it gives people the ability to pretend to care about the environment for upwards of an hour every Sunday, and then go back to, I don't know, bleeding seals and setting fire to tyres.
It's not about caring about the environment. You just want to laugh at a flamingo getting frozen in the same lake every night. Seemingly be surprised by it in the morning.
This is my beef with just how many wildlife documentaries. This isn't confined to David Attenborough, where they're filming things. They're filming like an antelope being ripped apart by lions. You think, bloody do something.
No,
bloody intervene.
No, that's
kill the antelope.
Charge him with a crowbar.
Come on, wouldn't it be great if in the middle of it just a cameraman just charges him with a pistol, just fires a few warning shots?
Yeah, but why
yeah,
are
I'm
you
packing
doing
heat
that?
lines.
Yeah, but where are you doing this? If are you stopping an anteater from eating ants? Where's your level of oh no, don't hurt that? Where does it go for you?
Well, at least it goes to BBC News, perhaps maybe intervening in all the riots they film as well.
So
that's a different matter.
Oh, that's important, is it? Antelopes, no, but humans.
I mean, frankly, yes.
If you don't let the antelope die, then the lion will die, because the lion can't eat.
Yeah, well, lions are arrogant pricks anyway, so
king of the jungle.
King. Yeah, we can all roar, mate. You know.
Vote for him.
I mean, you wouldn't vote for them. That's why they're a monarchy. That's the whole point of
Yeah, it's not called the Lion President, is it, mate?
He's given a sword by a woman in a pond. That's what.
So what we're saying here, the antelope is Michael Palin in Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Help, I've been repressed.
So now I do want to save them. No, you made that comparison.
You know that lions would be big into gerrymandering. That's right. This is where we want. How are we going to keep power here?
Yeah.
The lion is, of course, massively into gerrymandering its borders to maintain power in its kingdom.
I think that's
what, if you actually see the extended version of The Lion King, where they're going, everything you see before you is yours. What they've got after is an unedited bit of them going, and it's because of this reason, because we've gerrymandered here.
This is the electoral map now, the animal kingdom, and how it looks. And Pumbaa discovering like a box of votes in Florida somewhere, and just begin a bungalow to hush money. That's the extended edit of the Lion King. Yeah.
And just Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, just some heavies from the government shop. I'll go give you Circle of Life, son. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, we got sidetracked.
Oh no, I think honestly,
Morecambe and Wise are crap as well. Can I put that out there?
I don't think they're making Morecambe and Wise.
I'm quite sure they're dead, so I don't think that would matter as much as potentially your opinions on David Attenborough.
That breakfast bit's good, though, isn't it? I say that facetiously because I've never seen the fuss about that sketch of why that's so well liked.
I think the only thing that really I look at Morecambe and Wise, I haven't watched tons of it, is the one with the conductor saying, "I am playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order." That is fucking art.
That's a great line.
But this is meant to be a political show.
Fine. No, I don't have to concede. I'll let you win on Attenborough. What else can I say that's contentious here? Colin Baker was a really good Doctor Who. Yeah, I said it. Come at me
I've never
with
watched
you.
an episode of Doctor Who in my life.
Oh, I know. I'm saying this for the benefit of people who will comment on YouTube about my life. And the last series of Blake Seven was really good.
I hope to God there isn't enough people watching that would comment on whether or not fucking Colin Baker was a good Doctor Who or not, because frankly, I couldn't give a fuck.
I know. It would be quite galling, wouldn't it, if that
Tom
would be the
Baker's
most...
one with a scarf.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, let's...
Woman's hand.
Right, let's go on to
Apologies to
another
fans
piece of news.
Did we arrive at a conclusion?
No, we didn't. we simply didn't. So this week, eugenics came back in a big way.
Yes, it did.
Everyone's having fun with it because it was Andrew Sabitsky.
Yep.
He brought. He's retired now. Well, he resigned.
Yeah.
He was brought in by Dominic Cummings as a Downing Street advisor, or consultant, as he called himself, and has resigned at the start of the week after all of his supposedly... They put down controversial views. Is it the right... he was for eugenics.
Yeah,
is that controversial or just wrong?
Yeah, it's a wrong view.
I think it's both, isn't it? It's wrong in a very controversial way to be in favour of eugenics.
The way they just used the word controversial is almost softening it so as if it's a debatable point. And
it's almost a selling point, isn't it? It's almost a marketing thing. It's almost... We've reached that stage where this is almost... and partly is the world of comedy to blame, isn't it? Controversial comedian.
Well, you had Dawkins this week as well, having a go, just saying, well, like scientifically, eugenics can be done, which is simplifying eugenics, because he was making it out that you can produce the perfect human, as we've shown with breeding dogs and everything else. And I go, well, every breed that we've done have fundamental health issues.
Can I just ask, by what metric is a human being judged to be perfect?
If you wanted to make a human being that could run really fast, you would just breed a bunch of fast runners together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That makes sense.
And I
that
appreciate...
would probably work.
But
that doesn't solve all human problems.
Well, at the same time, be able to run really fast, but there's a good chance they'll be dead by 8.
Yeah.
This is it. They're going.
He's always saying that they'll have to pack in a lot of running. Before they peg it.
Gets those first 2 years of school first.
this is the idea, because it's always this. I mean, this is just scientific. This is. I mean, I'm not actually saying it right. Like, well, scientifically, I could use marshmallows to make you completely airtight, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a right thing to do.
Could you unpack that last one again? I'm a little bit lost there. This is.
If you give me enough marshmallows, I could make you completely airtight.
Why do I feel like marshmallows are somewhat porous to air? Some air would pass through a marshmallow.
Depends how much you use.
Could you physically? Are you talking about physically encasing someone in marshmallows?
I'm saying marshmallows, every orifice, airtight.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, you probably
Like
could.
getting a boat seaworthy. Can we make Dominic Cummings seaworthy with the question? Zawinski even, one of the two.
Both, yeah.
It's one
Lash
of
them
those
together like a right-wing raft of dismay.
But it's one of those utterly pointless conversations where people go, "Oh, listen, I'm just saying it in a scientific way." You go, it's a pointless conversation.
Yeah, because there's loads of things that are scientifically that are just horrible and immoral. Yeah. And why? I'm just saying it. Yeah, but it's immoral to say it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, fine, freedom of speech, you can say it, but don't be surprised if people turn around and say, "Why are you saying this? This is wrong." Yeah,
like Thanos, isn't it? It's like, yeah, he's technically correct. So you would have more resources if you took out half the population.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean you should do it.
Can I just say that if you guys are on YouTube now, that will be just be prepared for that to be taken out of context.
What, Thanos?
Just you saying, well, of course Thanos was correct. You would have more resources.
That's
a very That's a very clippable bit you just supplied there.
I mean, I've thought that in an economic sense, if you killed everyone at retirement age, we would be in a much better position in the entire world. So once retirement, you kill them, because there'll be more jobs for people, and even lower the retirement age to, say, 60. Kill everyone at 60, there'll be more jobs for people, more money, more tax going in, more resources, more houses. The world would be a better place. But you can't just go around killing everyone at 60. No matter how much I suggest it.
You could make a cult sci-fi classic out of a premise such as that.
I was going to say we are inexorably moving towards Logan's Run with this, aren't we? This is the thing. Life Day.
If you sold us Logan's Run over eugenics, I think more people would get behind. Yeah, Logan's Run. We could.
Well, they would now, wouldn't they? It's we've crossed that Rubicon. But it's but yeah, no, it's I mean, it's also the way that this is dismissed. Sort of, because he did, as has been pointed out, it wasn't a particularly contrite resignation letter, was it, from Andrew Sabisky? It wasn't as if he held his hand up and said, "You know what, I'm completely wrong." And
it's the whole "if I offended you" sort of response.
Yes. It's the Virgin Media apology, isn't it? Is that we're sorry you had a bad experience.
If you're upset, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's the Ashley Haden apology for his sets.
Hang on. No, I never fucking apologise. How dare you? And if I was going to apologise, I wouldn't do something as fucking weak as, and if you didn't like it, I'm sorry. No, if you didn't like it, I understand it, but that's on you. I can't be here for your offence. But I don't say that eugenics is a good idea. And if I was to say that, it would be in a comedic way on stage, surrounded in a comedy fucking vehicle, so people knew it was a fucking joke. I wouldn't do it in a scientific paper, going along going, "Aren't I intelligent? Isn't eugenics a great way? By the way, black people are stupid compared to white. Give me a job in Downing Street."
Don't snip this bit.
I was going to say, it's like, I thought I'd said the worst about Attenborough, but now you're giving lots of clippable context.
He said this. He said one of his things that claims that race affects intelligence. Black Americans are on average less intelligent than white Americans. We should legally enforce universal uptake of long-term contraception and allocate money to 11-year-olds based on their IQ tests.
Those fucking idiots like Barack Obama and Neil deGrasse
Richard. I was going to say, and Richard Pryor. All these people who prove that our brothers is, of course.
A bunch of fucking morons.
I mean,
Donald Glover. Why? My goodness me.
It's these people who love to go on about IQ and intelligence. I just really like IQ, because this is Dominic Cummings all over. Loves talking about IQ and how intelligent he is, and everything should be done on IQ. You go, what you miss though is any form of common sense, any form of life experience. experience any form of wisdom, should you
Yeah.
say. You can be as smart as you like, but if you're unable to have any form of wisdom about it, you're still a fucking idiot.
You could imprison Donald Cummings in a room by giving him 2 cups of tea and a door handle, and he'd have no idea how to resolve the situation.
But it's the whole thing of again, by what metric is someone's IQ high? By how because as you say, it's intelligence isn't judged as how much you know; it's how much you correlate what you know and how much you're able to use in what you know to get the most out of your existence.
I mean, you could be intelligent, but if you never afforded the opportunity to learn anything, then your intelligence is basically meaningless.
Yeah, or if you're just self-taught, if you just do a lot of reading, you can be smart and intelligent. I'm sure that would show up in an IQ, but it's just also it's just this whole thing of why does he feel this need to prove? Why do you need to feel that you'll prove that you're? It's not much of an achievement if you say if you can prove. Well, I'm just genetically smarter than you. It's like, well, you didn't have much to do then, did you? That in a way, that's sort of flagging up your privilege. If you can prove that, which of course it isn't true.
It's always the it's the Mentor bit, innit?
Yeah.
Because I'm actually a member of Mentor. They go, mate, the smartest people in the world aren't, because they've got other things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not there trying to prove their fucking intelligence to everyone, because they're obviously so sad with their own pathetic fucking lives that they have to show everyone, I'm actually really intelligent. Yeah, but you're still a cunt, though.
Yeah, that's what intelligent people do, isn't it? Tell you they're intelligent.
Yeah.
Show not tell, maybe.
Trump,
Andrew Savitsky.
I'm the most intelligent. I'm the most whatever.
I'm the greatest. Yeah, but that's a different thing. That's a strategy from him, isn't it? To kind of just bamboozle people the whole time.
Also, like intelligent people, like playing on stereotypes. If we're going to play this whole stereotype game, intelligent people are generally pretty fucking ugly. do you want to live in a world where we've weeded out all the good-looking people?
I'm not sure how I'm going to take that. Am I?
Yes, I was just thinking. Well, that I mean, I'm not much of a looker, but I wouldn't say I was the smartest. It kind of leaves me. Where does it leave me, really?
Well, I've got the worst of both worlds.
Yes. Hang on a minute.
I'm an ugly thicko.
In the arbitrary system that I have created, you can either choose to be ugly and good-looking, or attractive and stupid. And I tell you what, not even surprising, a large amount of the population would choose attractive and stupid.
I mean, fucking, that is our whole TV, innit? Attractive and stupid.
Love Island. I've never seen it.
No. I think Chelsea have scored.
Speaking of attractive and stupid.
Yes.
That's I believe that is a clip from Love Island there. That's the mating cry. That's how they signal their attraction.
I'd
just
watch that show.
Oi.
Oh, yeah, if David Attenborough was hosting
David
it.
Attenborough hosted Love Island, I'd be all over it.
Oh, God. And now we see patient zero of super gonorrhea.
He'd be crouching with his camera going, look at these people doing it. That's what he'd be doing.
What news story have you brought?
What news story have I brought? I brought a couple from earlier in the week, so bear with me when I flip through my notepad. And these are quite offbeat. So how far back in the week was it?
Jazz news.
Jazz. This is not jazz news, Mark Cram. Why do you think it's jazz news?
You said it was offbeat.
Oh.
You take the win. That was a fucking joke, mate. That's what you see.
I'm sorry. I didn't realise we were doing joke-off breakdown. It's
Lion gerrymandering earlier.
There we go. A couple of obscure things you may have missed. Have you heard of Champneys? You won't have done because it's very posh people.
Is that the wine people? They make hampers or something?
No. It's kind of I think it's a sort of health spa type thing. It's a kind of place where Dame Judi Dench and Brad Pitt go. But they sort of, I think they've been pulled up because they've said they've claimed that their apple crumble could reduce the risk of cancer. They've made all these egregious claims on their, it said it could reduce the risk of cancer, cardiovascular illness and diabetes. And their black rice and quinoa and quinoa. Sorry, you can background showing. Black rice and quinoa and ginger salad has anti-inflammatory properties. So it just seems like this is a really weird sort of trope of very posh places to eat. It's not enough for the food to be good. It's got to bestow upon you some sort of superpower.
But superfoods don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Scientifically, they just don't. It's bollocks. It's marketing.
Yeah.
Like Banana Man.
I mean, he wasn't a superfood.
No, it's true.
No. He was a
He got his
superhero.
power. He got his power from the same as Popeye.
Yeah.
Like Popeye isn't a superfood.
far
Otherwise, Olive would have a lot of fucking powers.
As far as Popeye is concerned, though, is spinach to him not a superfood?
Well, we're really mining the core of political life in Britain at the minute. Aren't we? This
How do they claim the apple crumble gives you? How does it?
Because it's
cancer?
ingredients and
but
it's
yeah, because
anti-inflammatory.
presumably the article didn't really go into detail, or maybe I didn't read it close enough. But it was just on their menu that it has this property of, it's so healthy for you. Or apple crumble, it could actually do the opposite of what apple crumble does, which is a peculiar.
Does apple crumble give you cancer unless it's that one?
Well, I mean, if apple crumble, if you even just a single apple, it's sort of you are technically increasing your risk of cancer because there's lots of refined sugar in it and there's lots of sort of stuff in it. It's lovely to eat. I mean, obviously, unless you eat it for every meal, it's not going to do that. But
be fair, if you Google any food plus the phrase cancer in Daily Mail, they've definitely written a story about it.
Well,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, technically, this came from the Times. I should point out.
But anti-cancer, pro-cancer.
The long word "sun."
Yeah, very much the subtitled version of the Sun. It's sort of the article made great play about this is a place frequented by Naomi Campbell, Dame Helen Mirren, and Daniel Craig. So I don't know if this.
It's such a pointless fucking story, Declan.
I'm sorry. Maybe you'd like it if it had David Attenborough in it.
Even then, it's some posh cunt place has said, you know what, we cure cancer with an apple crumble. They go, well, you haven't. You simply haven't.
Yeah, I mean, but it caught my eye just because it's like, well, why would you? I mean, if you went to sort of Nando's and they said, well. I tell you what, you won't get earache if you have a peri-peri sauce. It's just, I can't imagine that. Who would respond to that as a marketing strategy?
People with earache.
All right, fine, Mark.
You reckon people are lining up outside of this place going, mate, I've got cancer, stage 3. This is my last Hail Mary. Give me some apple crumble. Do you want custard?
It's like Man on the Moon when Andy Kaufman goes to like that
the
treatment, which is never going to work.
They're not saying that like low scores of people from Make-A-Wish Foundation are turning up for this. It's just an odd. I just found it really strange that why would you put that? Why would you make that claim when it is so obviously? Do you know what I mean? I think they are being investigated by the West Sussex County Council.
I think that they've listed the celebrities there as if to say, well, Helen Mirren's not got cancer, has she? So,
draw your own conclusions.
This rock keeps tigers away.
Yeah, Daniel Craig's still running around as Bond. So, try some of this. But it's
right. Well, thanks for that story, Declan.
Thank you.
Let's go on to another one.
Okay.
While we're here, if you don't mind, I'm going to do one because I fear yours is going to be about another dessert and curing of a disease. And although I am a big fan, no. Government and new immigration laws.
Right, yeah.
Have we seen them? What are our views on them?
So the point system, if I
yes.
You've got to get 70 points. And it's 20 points if you earn over 26,500.
Yeah, something like 25.8
so
or something.
You've got 3 that are needed, the absolute certainty. So it's speaking English is 10 points, has a job offer or a sponsor, 20 points, and job has a proper skill level. That's another 20 points. So straight away you have to have 50. Straight away, and then you need to get 20 from the others, which is a job has a salary of 20,480 to 23,039. That's 0. You don't get any points for that. So if you speak English, have a job offer, and the job has a proper skill level, but you are being paid say 21,000 for it, you still cannot come into this country.
Am I about to be deported? Because I'm not in that.
Well, this is it.
I was, but I feel. Does anyone else just feel like how long is it before they just roll this out to everybody?
I've always had that concern that anything that the government does to the people that it thinks it can get away with, so foreigners, that's their eventual plan to take away rights for the most vulnerable in society.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the whole first they came for.
Yes. Isn't it? First they came for people who can't speak English, and we got rid of all of Essex.
Am I right in saying the next tier up on the salary as well is only 10 points?
Yes.
So basically making it pointless because you need 70 and that's only going to give you 60.
Yes, but you've also got jobs in shortage occupation lists. That's 20. I don't know what that list is. I don't think they've done that list yet. Has a PhD degree, which is 10 points. But if you have a PhD degree in science, technology, maths, and engineering, that's 20. So if you have a degree in any of those four, have a job offer that's 21,000, can speak English, and the job is a proper skill level, then you can come into this country.
So the starting rate for nurses doesn't qualify. But are they going to be down as a shortage industry?
That's going to be a shortage industry, yeah.
50,000 of them.
Oh yeah, we're going to get the 50,000 certainly if and only if we start just calling people nurses, like just homeless people. They're not homeless; they're nurses. That's how we're going to get the 50,000.
Anyone who looks a bit like it. Anyone who's owns a white shirt.
Anyone that can smile when someone's bleeding.
Ted Bundy would have made a great.
I was going to say, is that most of Dominic coming to
That was actually meant to be a point on how nurses are able to continue working in high pressure. And it did come across, like I just said, nurses, they smile when people bleed.
Only in The Shining. I think, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah.
What are we looking for this? Do we think that this is the right way forward? Do we think that the points-based system is going to work? Because there have been people who come out and said that this is going to damage certain industries.
I can't conceive of just the whole idea of someone's status being reduced to the level of a loyalty card is, what.
It's just ridiculous.
It is absurd. It just because it just makes me. It does generally, and this is going to immensely selfish, but it is just how long before they just start doing it to the rest of us. And that basis alone, you think people will be up in arms and going, you can't really treat people this way.
This is pure value of human.
Yeah.
You're giving it an actual number, and I do think that just for speed purposes, we're going to get to a point where we just put the number tattoo on your fucking arm at that point.
It's like the good place. Everyone has a points value of what they are worth.
Yes.
And but this won't be determined by the good actions you take. It'll be what you can contribute to society.
This is it. What is unskilled?
Well, it's.
Well, then what's shortage? Like, what defines whether it's a shortage or not? Because if you don't pay people to come, like the most menial tasks in this country will become shortage occupations if people aren't coming here to do them.
Yeah.
Because we have proven as a nation time and time again that we do not want to do those jobs.
Yeah.
Well, Priti Patel, the one who makes fucking Thatcher look like one of the nicest people in humanity, she said that we can, for staff shortage, we can just teach the 8.5 million people that aren't working at the moment.
What was the phrase she used? Economically inactive?
Yes, and of those people, of the 8.5 million people that are economically inactive at the moment, let's have a look, where are we? Economically inactive, so that's not employed, they don't have a job, or not unemployed, which is they have not looked for a job in the past 4 weeks, or are not available to work in the next 2 weeks. 27% are students, 26% are sick, almost all of them with long-term sickness, 22% are looking after homes or caring for family members, 13% are retired before the age of 65, so rich and don't fucking want to work anyway. Less than 0.5% are describing themselves as discouraged workers. The last 11 are others, which includes people who say that they have not yet started looking for work, those who are awaiting results of a job application, and some who say they do not need to work.
So what we're maybe dealing with, maybe 6% of that 8.5 million would be people that could actively work?
Well, students, you can't force students to work because they're fucking doing something. Sick, we will have to start thinking of interesting jobs for the sick to do. Cocktail shaker for Parkinson's.
We're accelerated right into the zone there.
Wow.
I mean,
doing the wheels spinning, it was just
yeah, we might as well. I mean, it basically, if you don't want to get on the wrong side of the government, don't care, don't learn anything, just don't do anything except work. I'm just surprised actually economically inactive doesn't cover dead people. That they'll invest in the film industry so they can develop animatronics to the point where you can just reanimate corpses, and they'll start doing it.
The thing is, these economically inactive people were economically inactive in July this year when we threw out a record number of crops in this country because there wasn't enough people to pick them and they were all rotting in a field.
Yeah.
Those people were still out of work at that stage. That number's not changed substantially in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But
so they're not going to start doing it now.
Yeah.
but even if you've got these people and you get these, if you get all 8.5 million people working, which you're not going to, because as I say, some are fucking don't need to work, so they're not going to. They're not going to be a bane on anyone. But if you got them all to do it, they would still be earning less money than they'll need to fucking live anyway.
Yeah.
Because the wages for these jobs like fruit picking, although the agriculture seasonal visas, they're moving from 2,500 up to 10,000 for seasonal workers. So we are still going to get fucking borderline modern slavery in, so we can pay people peanuts to pick cabbages.
My favourite story on this regard was at Christmas, Weatherspoons started serving their sausages wrapped in bacon without the bacon on.
Yes.
And the reason that they did this is because that is a manual task. A machine can't wrap bacon around a sausage. Right. And because there was less migrant workers in the UK who typically come over and do that sort of work at Christmas, Weatherspoons could not source enough sausages wrapped in bacon to serve with their festive burgers.
Do you hear that, Skynet? You've not won yet. There's still hope for humanity. John Connor's busy wrapping bacon around sausages right now.
You'll never be able to do a complete Christmas dinner.
That'd be amazing. What if that's the reason we actually won against the machines? Like, so Arnie walking to Weatherspoons, I need your bacon, your sausage. Oh, I can't do it.
That's how you test if something
like the White Camp test.
What one hell of a fucking Turing test that is. Go on then. They managed to describe love perfectly, but you had you say, okay, final test, just as they thought they got away from it.
Make me a pig in a blanket.
On and off. Pig in blankets, pig in a blanket. Which one is it?
I don't know. I just eat it.
Cool.
Well, you never eat one, do you? So it's not a pig in a blanket.
No.
So where do you think we're going to be heading with regards to our immigration policies?
Ultimately, a barter economy, because people aren't going to be earning money, are they? And people aren't going to be.
Well, if we're only
able
bringing
to pay
in
with anything in cash anymore.
Well, let's say that we're only wanting high skilled, whatever we think fucking high skilled is. Are we going to turn into a country at that point where the British are the like in a Singapore or something like this, where the local people are doing the lower fucking jobs, whilst the fucking the rich and the highly skilled and everything from the rest of the world coming over here, while the British become the pickers of fruit and all the time.
What do you mean turn into? Aren't we halfway there already?
Oh no, because I mean we've got we've still got quite a strong middle class.
I suppose
sector.
they have. Yeah, but
everyone's a fucking estate agent or recruitment consultant. That's unskilled work, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about unskilled professions, an estate agent, that's unskilled and fucking unethical.
I mean, I'm on shaky ground here, as I don't think you could describe anything I did at the BBC, or indeed in my working life, as skilled. As such, I suppose that if I want to defend myself, I'd say I did work reasonably hard and there was skill involved. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a fruit picker. I don't have that sort of level of manual dexterity or expertise. But it did this whole thing to bring us full circle. He's reminding me of the BBC, one of many things at the BBC. Whenever there'd be cutbacks it would always be frontline workers. It would always be the producers. It would always be the reporters. Just this week we've lost a load of staff from BBC News, and as much beef as I have with BBC News, it's like, well, they are the the people, and it was always this thing of well, what are you going to do with an organisation full of managers with no one to manage? And that's where Britain is heading. Is like, well, we're just going to be like a nation of, we're either just going to be full of highly skilled people with no one to kind of delegate to, or we're just not going to be able to do anything. That's how I feel, anyway.
It's bleak.
Well, I mean, that's a fun bit of the show. That is.
I'm not your go-to guy for if you want. I mean, I'm not Mary Poppins.
Well,
Sorry.
in that regard, do we end up just sort of as the knock-on effect of this? Because remember, this is day one.
Yes.
Essentially, we're in day one of this regime, and this is what.
Well, it's coming. These new immigration laws are starting on the 1st of January 2021.
So literally day one.
Yeah, that will be once we leave the day after. We're done. Whether we've got a trade deal, which we fucking won't do. Because you're not going to be able to do a trade deal in 7 months when you're all starting to swing your dicks about. You simply don't have enough time to do a technical trade deal in 7 months. It's impossible, especially when you're dealing with fucking idiots on our side and people who really don't want us to do well on the other side. So it's going to come in 2021.
It's almost as if you didn't want to make an enemy of a 27-nation bloc next to you.
I mean, you see them going on, and I've seen, because over in Ireland with the Irish elections, you've got so many fucking right-wing knobheads and left-wing knobheads going, oh, this is all about Brexit. It's not. Has fuck all to do with Brexit, the Ireland elections. In every poll and every survey, the European Union or leaving the European Union, that's 1% of the people want to. It's not a big fucking deal over in Ireland. But the British are so far up their own fucking arses, thinking that the entire fucking world's about them, that someone shits is because they fucking ate something British that they like. They're fucking going along, just going, oh, well, this is obviously about us then. This is obviously about Brexit. It's not. There's fucking housing issues over in Ireland. Many fucking different things. That is the reason that Leo, whatever the fuck his name is, went. It's absolute self-centered shit stains.
Can I
it's
just
a bit about us, though, isn't it?
No.
Can I just query the point? I'm a little bit lost about the point about any time anybody shits somewhere. We're saying everybody else is constipated. Is that the
it was basically me putting words in front of each other.
It's very poetic.
I love the
liked
idea
it.
that there's a country that's completely constipated. It's probably
I feel like we're living in it. They would account for everything.
Given their diets, it won't be in any of the Asian countries.
Or anyone in the Mediterranean.
Following eating their food, that'll fly through you. You're looking for a meat-heavy diet, maybe Argentina would be the most constipated nation on earth.
I mean, judging by how they act, hungry, that would explain a lot.
If they were constipated, they wouldn't be hungry anymore, though. Because
sometimes I wonder why I pick comedians to do this, and then we hit gold like that, and they go, "Oh, that's it. That's why we get upwards of 40 people watching this show."
At least I'm not just doing gay puns this time. Like I was on the first time.
I fucking forgot about that.
Is that what you were doing last time?
I put the word gay into every story.
Okay.
It was long. It was really
it was
fucking long.
Was it?
Actually, Gaydon was the highlight of the entire.
I see. That was the highlight.
That was the highlight.
Okay.
Tanya seems to enjoy it.
Right.
Oh, well, if Tanya enjoyed it.
Let's go on to a truly fucking depressing.
I was going to say, will I be allowed to mention another story?
Go on.
Very, very quickly. The Armed Forces Minister. I can't read my own handwriting, so that's immediately undermined my story.
I mean, the fact that you wanted to say this story, you best be able to read it.
Well, yeah, all right, okay. I'm sorry, but I can't read his name. But James, he apparently this whole thing about he was giving some sort of speech to personnel armed forces that they need to move away from physical warfare. The way he phrased it was they need to move away from blockbuster video, ships and guns, and be more Netflix, which apparently is sort of cyber capitalist special services that you implant malware into your enemy's software.
See, I thought Netflix war would just be like scrolling through a list of countries, never actually picking one to attack, and then just not bothering and going to sleep.
Or it tells you, because you're engaged in that war, here's another war you might like. and it'll pick a wolf through an algorithm or something. But that I just found that an extraordinary way of expressing warfare.
Well, the thing is with that is you can argue, I think quite rightly, that we have been in that war for the past, frankly, you can argue since before the First World War, because this is all propaganda wars. That's all it is. It's propaganda moving on to cyber. Onto cyber, you're still working on the same aspect of it being what would be the fucking word for it? Soft. A soft war, like soft power that England used to have, where we weren't the fucking biggest, but we were good for a little chat, and we were very good at diplomacy.
Like Ray Winston.
Yeah.
Just a little word in the show, like.
But bam, snooker ball and a sock right to the face.
But we are still currently in that type of war, and especially a cyber war with Russia, with North Korea, with China, with Iran put a lot into it. So did the US. Everyone's fucking there. I mean, just last year, it was found that GCHQ had been spying on Belgium. So I mean, we're all that is the next step for
a weird nation to spy on. I don't know. I mean, I'm no great espionage expert, but it just feels like who can we spy on whom we could probably take in a fight? It's got to be Belgium. Let's not spy on any of the big boys.
Well, the Swiss-Belgian war kicking off.
Just chocolate and paedophiles everywhere.
So we've got armies? Not really. We've got army knives.
Have some fondue.
That will burn.
Exactly.
This warfare.
Yeah.
It's so tasty. Yeah.
Would fondue be classed as chemical warfare if you just chucked fondue at someone?
Is it a chemical? Well,
if it was hot enough.
Yeah. Is it still a chemical when it's cheese? When it's like solid?
Yes. I mean, everything's a chemical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that means anything's chemical warfare.
Potentially.
There you go.
God.
Well, if you take nothing else away from this little episode, it's David Attenborough's a perv, and anything's chemical warfare. I think those are the essential lessons.
Talking about chemical warfare, Syria.
That's a great segue.
You've gone. You were talking about cyber warfare. Now let's talk into actual war that's going on that we seemingly have fucking forgotten about.
Yeah.
900,000 people displaced in Idbil, that's it.
Alright, seems like I'm not the only one who can't write things down properly.
Oh, no, I just couldn't remember it. Idlib, that's it. Over in Syria, the continual war and crisis, more than 900,000 men, women, children making their journey north during the fucking winter, and it is a proper fucking winter in Syria. None of the pissy rain that we get in this fucking country. Because the last opposition-held city of Idlib, which is under assault by government forces backed by Russia. This is the largest exodus of people during the 9-year civil war. Now, simple question. Very simple question. Should we have intervened in Syria?
That's like a yes and no tick box on a form, that isn't
it? Well, look, I mean, of course, you can expand your answer.
But my belief is I would almost say we shouldn't be intervening in the affairs of other countries unless there is some sort of mass genocide going on.
So the use of chemical weapons, which has been proven that Assad has used his own chemical weapons on his own people.
Yeah, I would put that into the pocket of some sort of mass genocide.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically this is human fucking extermination that he's doing here at the moment, and he's been doing it for years, and we've known it for years. So I mean, it's where I get so much fucking anger from this particular thing. These people like the likes of Corbyn, Stop the War are one of the worst bunch of fucking knobheads in this fucking world, because they are more than willing to go after fucking Israel anytime they do something, the US anytime they do something, but Russia they are fucking quiet about. China's absolute mass murder of fucking Muslims, they're quiet about. India with their fucking fucking Kashmir and their fucking mass murder over there. It's the constant. We are at a point now where there is numbers of people dying that we are ignoring, and I don't think we're ever going to get to. The only way we can get to the end of Syria is one of two ways. Assad fully takes over. No opposition left. No body left. You are looking at a North Korea working on there, or we have to go in, and it is too late to go in now.
So do we now just have to completely withdraw and let Assad take over?
Well, and this is it. And can you possibly allow that? How can we, as people who claim to be this fucking moral goodness, oh, we are good people, we look after people, we know what right from wrong is. Yet, for the past 9 years, we have allowed, and I do mean allowed, genocide, chemical weapons, which was meant to be the line that was drawn. So this is fucking Barack Obama to David Cameron to Ed Miliband voted to not go into Syria when he was the leader of the opposition. Corbyn continually has said that no intervention will ever work, and no one's pointed out to him that Kosovo fucking worked, that we had to, although because everyone talks about the Iraq war all of the time, which was a fuck up, and we should never have gone in, because we went into lies. It is not lies that Assad has used chemical weapons. This was where the line was meant to be drawn. Back in the 1950s, after the Second World War, we'll never let this happen again. We will never let this happen again.
But the question is now, I think, where, because we have to take it from, we're playing the cards we're dealt now.
Yes.
This is where we are. So it doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter what we've done for the last 9 years, because it matters hugely. It's had huge ramifications. It's had huge repercussions. But from now, the question is it now more beneficial for us to, as you said, withdraw? Is it more beneficial now for Assad to take control of that country, or to us to continue being, and as you said, there's never going to be an outcome that is not going to be him in power in some kind, so we're going to continue to destabilise the country the entire time? Is that more or less beneficial than him taking control?
Well, the question becomes is, for Assad to take control, how many are going to die? Because they stopped counting. I think the UN stopped counting a few years ago, and they said 400,000 dead. And that's not even taking into account the hundreds of thousands that went missing.
Yeah.
So we're looking at potentially over 1 million people dead because of Assad and Russia. Do not forget that Russia are in this. Russia have invaded Ukraine. Russia are helping Syria, and all this is the Middle East is basically a pissing contest between the US and Russia. But now Trump has gone out of that. He doesn't want to be involved in that. So it is just Russia. Russia is the superpower now. They are the power brokers of the Middle East. They are what everyone hated about America.
So what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to be a fucking bloodbath, and I think we are going to close our eyes and ignore it.
I think, and I'm in a position of having very sketchy knowledge from what you said, the difficulty with intervening anywhere where Russia is involved, particularly at the minute, is we're back in the days of the Cold War, and the potential for escalation into something possibly nuclear is possibly what's putting people. Whether that's better or worse than what we've got, well, it's infinitely worse. Any kind of nuclear war is just inconceivable. But it's you know what I mean. It's
the reason why Crimea was not deemed significant enough.
Yeah. Yes.
For anyone to do anything. Russia went, they went, we've taken it, okay, but don't do any more. Seemed to
Yeah.
be the
Well,
reaction.
I mean, Georgia, Russia went into Georgia, nothing. Have literally invaded a country that are still killing Ukrainian soldiers, nothing. Are working with Assad in Syria, as is Iran, And I mean, they've already killed Turkish soldiers, and it's very weird for when you've got Erdogan trying to help these Syrian refugees, but he's doing it for selfish reasons because Turkey have already taken in 4 million Syrian refugees, and they don't want to take in another fucking million. So they're saying something has to be done, something has to be stopped. But at this point, it's Merkel, Macron, and Erdogan speaking to Putin. Where the fuck are we? Why are we not doing anything? Why are America not doing anything? You want to be the big fucking bollocks. You want to say how good you are as a country, how big you are as a country. Where the fuck is Trump and Johnson fucking standing up for this?
I'm just going to put this out there. Could it be that on the quiet we were hoping for some sort of trade deal with Russia? Because historically, you think about...
and swap with them with what?
I don't know, but I know historically, well before Brexit... I can't remember. William Hague, I seem to remember he was sort of engaged in some sort of trade mission to Russia, and that's potentially why quite a lot of extrajudicial Russian assassinations carried out on British soil weren't investigated. Potentially, I don't know.
I mean, we've already got enough xenophobia. We don't need to fucking trade some from Russia.
Well, it's our primary export, isn't it? That and weapons. I wonder how many British weapons actually have been used in the Syrian war.
Well, my interesting thing was the Iran-America conflict, which very nearly kicked off. Well,
yes.
Depending on how near it was, but that was definitely the Americans' goal, was to kick off some sort of conflict.
Well, the thing with Iran is it's always for years it's always been Iran talk a big game, but if you stand up, they fucking wilt. And at the moment, it seems like it's been another example of it. Because they said, there's going to be retribution, we're going to do this. But really, they're only going to do it cyber, because they ain't got the firepower to deal. And Iran have been spending years getting soft power around the Middle East. They're with Hezbollah in Libya. Lebanon. They have helped Hezbollah, who basically have a veto in Lebanon. They've worked with people in Iraq to get power into there. They work with Assad for Syria. They're trying to be the power brokers in the Middle East. But it's all going to be soft and it's all going to be cyber, because they do not want to have an actual war with Israel and the US, because they'll get bombed the fuck.
Well, my point, if that conflict were to have kicked off, that would have been used by Russia as a smokescreen for them to then go back to Georgia and go back to the Ukraine, because everyone's focus would have been on something else, and no one was going to deploy troops to stop Russia from doing anything. So
exactly.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Anything. That's my point. Is the minute you sort of intervene anywhere, particularly the minute in the Middle East, you do run the risk of running into a hot war with Russia, which sounds just horrible and heartless, and it is horrible and heartless. And I'm hard pressed to come up with an answer, really.
So to answer your simple question, should we have intervened in Syria? Yes, we should have done it earlier. No, we shouldn't have withdrawn. Well, America shouldn't have withdrawn. But now I honestly don't know where you go from there.
Exactly. Right. Have we got anything to plug?
Mark, you want to go first?
No, just doing gigs and stuff. I don't care if anyone watching this comes. It's mainly going to be comedians, and quite frankly, their opinion is meaningless to me.
Quite right. Yourself?
Well, I was going to plug Towel Day on March the 8th, but it seems... Towel Day, yeah.
Oh, that's the
Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide, yeah.
Yeah.
Myself and Jonathan Hearn will be part of that. Stand up for Towel Day at the British Library on March the 8th. There's two this year, because March the 8th is the 42nd anniversary of the original radio broadcast. There'll be another one on May the 25th. We'll be doing that one as well. Doing other gigs as well, so check my Facebook page and Twitter feed. But, I mean, obviously, you're going to tell me off for hating on David Attenborough. I accept that, but... if you do come to Towel Day, we're supporting Save the Rhino. So, swings and roundabouts.
I imagine the crossover between Hitchhikers fans and David Attenborough fans is quite large as well. Generationally, that would seem to...
Yeah, and actually, from a point of view of Douglas Adams, latterly did have quite an ecological, environmental aspect to all his writing.
Cool.
You probably wouldn't be wrong.
Enjoyed animal porn.
Right.
Okay, you're going to need to have to back that up, and there's time.
We're at the end of this, so I'm going to go just quickly through the news that we didn't get to. Debbie Abrahams is the MP for Oldham East and Saddleworth, was denied entry into India. with no reason given. She is a Kashmir rights campaigner, so that's the fucking reason for that. We also have the IEA, which is one of the most influential think tanks in the UK, has spent the past couple of decades saying that man-made climate change is false. Boris Johnson has not visited any of the victims of the floods or held a Cobra emergency committee meeting because he's a cunt.
Why would they? Why would he? He's from the north. They're all from the north, aren't they? And nobody cares about people.
We don't have time.
Sorry.
Over in Yemen, the Houthi rebels have blocked half of the UN's aid delivery program as a strong-arm tactic to get money from the UN for themselves. Average weekly wage in the UK has reached its highest level since before the financial crisis, which means we are now 65p better off than we were 12 years ago. So you're welcome. And just before the next month's budget, the Office of National Statistics has said that Britain's public finance has recorded a smaller than expected surplus in January, so that's not going to be good for the budget. More than half of women killed by men in the UK in 2018 were killed by a current or former partner, so stay single forever. And Paul Golding, the leader of the far-right group Britain First, has been charged with an offence under the Terrorism Act for refusing to give his phone to the police at Heathrow when coming back from Russia. Britain First have spent quite some time attempting to get money, funding and cooperation from Russia. So I want to thank my guests, and God, it's fucking dreadful. Thank you.
Thank you.